Hey everyone, this is Peter Hall.
My name is Joshua Hall.
And we're going to be doing a review on BOBSHEAUX'S review of Batman vs. Dracula. This is for his guest show segment on for October, for Halloween. He calls it BOBSHEAUX'Ween. He's invited his viewers to do reviews on stuff he's reviewed, so we're going to review his review of Batman vs. Dracula. As you will see by his video introduction of guest show. So,
hey guys, thank you for another amazing month of guest show. Thanks to your reviews, the rest of the week when I'm not posting mine have been grantastic! However, I do feel the need to point out a few things before talking about the next block of guest shows. 1. Don't post non-constructive criticism in the comments. A lot of these guest reviewers may not have the editing or public speaking skills that others may have, but let's keep the negativity to a minimum. It takes a lot to put yourself out there like this, and we need to encourage them to keep on trying. 2. Don't ask me if I got your review in the comments of someone else's review. If you sent your review through Google Drive to bobshow@gmail.com, it's a pretty safe bet that I got it. 3. If you don't want to watch these guest shows because you don't like them as much as you like my reviews, that's totally fine. There are YouTubers who I subscribe to, but I only watch so much of their content. If you don't like these guest shows, just wait patiently until Saturday when I have my next review up for you to enjoy. There's no point in asking me to stop doing this segment, because there are too many other reviewers who enjoy being a part of this, and the majority of my audience enjoys watching these new reviewers as well. If they suddenly stop sending me their reviews, only then will I stop posting them. 4. Please submit your reviews to me in MP4 format only. Also include the address of your YouTube channel, and if you have a logo you'd prefer me to use, send that too. Otherwise, I'll pick a screenshot of you from the review itself to be used in your guest show title card. 5. The deadline for October will be October 22nd, but the sooner we get them in, the better. If your review is received by the 15th, it'll definitely get posted in October, and I'll try to give it its own day. If the bulk of the reviews are received after the 15th, there's a possibility of them having to share days with other videos, or even be pushed back until January, when I'll be hosting a variety of guest shows while I take my semi-annual break. 6. I don't like to pick apart production values, but audio levels are imperative to a proper review. We can't have it so some parts of what you're saying are louder than others, nor can we have the movie drowning out your narration, or the movie being too quiet to hear dialogue when it's supposed to be the focus. If you want to share your ideas, they need to be perfectly audible and intelligible. And finally, the BOBSHEAUX'Ween season is drawing nigh. So for my next block of guest shows, I'm assigning to you any of the movies that I've reviewed for BOBSHEAUX'Ween. Batman vs. Dracula, Spooky Buddies, Freaks, any movie you see in the info below is up for grabs. One movie you won't see in that list, however, is Where the Dead Go to Die. I was serious when I said I don't want any of you watching that movie, and any review of that you give me will be ignored. I watch every review that's given to me, and I have no intention of seeing that movie ever again, so let's just try to forget that movie exists, okay? Otherwise, send me your tricks, send me your treats, and I will see you later.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am BOBSHEAUX wearing a Batman costume. And today, we're going to look at a movie that offers us a lot more than what last week gave us. We're going to look at The Batman vs. Dracula. The Batman is the first animated incarnation of the Dark Knight since the DC animated universe has inspired by Bruce Timm, and frankly, it got a lot more hate than I think it deserved.
It definitely had its flaws, but overall I found it pretty enjoyable. After its first season wrapped in 2005, the show got its first direct-to-DVD feature film, The Batman vs. Dracula. And yeah, I thought it sounded as stupid as everyone else did. But in retrospect, it makes more sense for Batman to be pitted against a villain than one of his fellow heroes.
Tell me, Batman, do you bleed? You will.
After a bit of violin music backing up the opening credits, giving the movie a distinct Dracula feel, our story begins in Arkham Asylum. And is it me, or does this Arkham look disturbingly like stately Wayne Manor? Weird.
Okay, the reason why we're doing this review is because we think that Bob Show skipped over elements of his review that we thought should have been highlighted more and focused on more. And we also think he made a big deal out of things that really weren't important. One of the things that he didn't focus on enough, we think, was the contrived stupidity of Penguin's escape from Arkham Asylum.
The whole contrived beginning.
Yeah. It's pretty stupid the way he did it, as you will see from this, from our video clip of Batman vs. Dracula. Okay, so the Penguin is in Arkham. Some random unnamed inmate is trying to convince him to help him break out because he knows the location of where some buried treasure is. Penguin is uninterested. A guard shows up. The guy pretends that he's crazy and stupid. The guard buys it because he's a retard. Penguin finally gets interested after getting mad because this guy's ruining his game, but he finally gets interested when the man promises to split the take with him. So then he uses a whole bunch of bird-related puns. Where might we retrieve our little nest egg?
North End.
The guy gives him some vague directions, but then says that he won't give him any more information until they get out of Arkham. Penguin says, "Don't worry, you can trust me. I'm as dependable as the dodo."
Trusting me, old pal. I'm as dependable as the dodo.
The guy then brags that he told one other inmate about the treasure. Turns out to be Joker, but Penguin's as stupid as the dodo too because he takes forever to figure out that this guy's talking about the Joker.
Oh! Take it easy. I don't think he got what I was telling him. Who? I mean, talk about having a real screw loose, right?
You told him? Duh, Penguin, it should be obvious.
Joker!
The Joker obviously escapes. So.
Goodbye,
Then he goes on a reign of terror around Gotham. It's just running around scaring people. Penguin decides that with the Joker out, he has to escape too to find the treasure.
Come on!
He pulls the oldest trick in the book. Look behind you, it's the Joker! The guard's a retard and falls for it. Penguin pulls some pretty good martial arts gymnastics. Kicks the guard's ass. This is so stupid the way Penguin escapes. But it's pretty funny too.
Bingo.
Thanks to the magic of a device called the Batwave, which is apparently a surveillance network hardwired throughout all of Gotham City, Batman picks up on Joker's escape, and he's immediately on the hunt. Remember what a big deal it was in The Dark Knight, how it was ethically wrong for Batman to watch everything going on all over Gotham? This Batman is 3 years into his crime-fighting career, and he's just saying, yeah, whatever, I can wire the whole city because I'm Batman. By the way, I love this Joker. The dreadlocks make him look like he's wearing a jester's hat, and they really make him look like the chaos he's supposed to embody. The fingerless gloves? They're just rubbing themselves in Batman's face. Look at me, Batman! I'm leaving behind all the fingerprints I want. Go ahead, study them until your eyes bleed. I don't care if you track me down, and you'll never find out who I am! And the lack of shoes? This is a guy who simply does not care about how messed up his feet get while doing all these crazy gymnastics of his.
When intercepts Joker,
Tweet.
Penguin, you old featherbrain.
Penguin tries to strike a bargain with the Joker to split the take from the treasure.
Clowny, but I think we can save each other a whole lot of trouble if we agree.
The Joker pretends to agree, but then he pulls a fast one on Penguin and electrocutes him, which, to be honest, Penguin really should have seen coming. Come on, Penguin, sheesh. Shocking, isn't it, Penguin?
My Pengy, you really know how to shake!
But Penguin's bad luck soon turns into good fortune because the Batman goes after the Joker instead of Penguin. Instant karma, Joker.
Instant karma, Joker. Tweet, tweet.
And then we get the Penguin. Remember how I said the show had some flaws? Most of them had to do with him. I like how they're evoking Danny DeVito's Penguin from Batman Returns, but why is his hat as big as his entire body? At this point, it just looks like he's compensating for something.
And join us again next week when Batman analyzes the Freudian implications of Penguin's umbrella.
And yeah, about the umbrella weapons. Sure, they're cool, but if they want to make him a martial artist capable of kicking Batman's ass, they just become pointless. It also really doesn't help that they got Tom Kenny to provide his voice.
I think we can save each other a whole lot of trouble if we agree to split the tank.
And I'm sorry, I hate ripping on you all the time, Tom Kenny, but it's like every voice that you do that appears on my show ends up sounding like SpongeBob. I hate SpongeBob!
As you saw, Bob Show believes that every voice that Tom Kenny does sounds similar to SpongeBob, and for some reason that he doesn't specify, maybe he specifies it in some of his other videos, I don't know, but for some reason that he doesn't specify here, he hates SpongeBob. And that's why he doesn't like the Penguin. Well, it's one of the reasons. Probably the biggest reason for him why he doesn't like the Penguin, because he thinks it's...
One of the villains that he voiced in The Kid Next Door sounded like SpongeBob.
Yeah, that was that flu villain.
Yeah.
But, the Penguin's voice that he does for the Batman, or did for the Batman, does not sound anything like SpongeBob.
It sounds like the Ice King.
Yeah,
Time.
I have video clips of SpongeBob, video clips of the Ice King, and a video clip of Meredith Burgess that we're gonna show you. And I've heard that Tom Kenny's voice for the Penguin is partially inspired by Meredith Burgess, who did the Penguin in Alan West's 1960s version, a 1960s Batman series. Check him out.
Go, SpongeBob!
Oh, I can kill you! Oh, wait. I am so stupid, silly Billy.
So as you can see, Tom Kenny's voice for the Penguin does not sound anything like SpongeBob at all. It's actually more similar to the Ice King. I think the Ice King is a little bit higher pitched, but it's still very similar. Also, I don't understand why Bob Show has a problem with the Penguin being more of a martial artist. I mean, I don't have a problem with the Penguin being a martial artist and having his cache of umbrella weapons and stuff. I do like the Batman animated series of the Penguin better. I thought he was funnier. I just liked his refined snobbish attitude. Like I just like the sound of his voice, how erudite and snobbish it was. I thought that was pretty funny. Another issue that I have with Bob Show's review is that when he was talking about the scene where the Penguin almost killed himself by accident by purposefully dropping himself into the Gotham River, the dam, he still had his joy buzzers on after he tried to electrocute Batman. And an issue I have with that is that he was actually proud that Batman didn't tried to save the Joker, and that he was upset that he couldn't. And even I thought that was like one of the stupider scenes, because it should have been obvious that the Joker would try to pull a fast one on Batman and try to electrocute him with his joy buzzers, and it was stupid that Joker forgot about how he would be electrocuted in the water with them on. And somebody like the Joker, I would not feel sorry for at all. Yeah. But that's just my opinion, and Bob Show is entitled to his. Okay, so while Dracula's chasing Penguin, Batman is fighting the Joker.
The show must go on.
The Joker seemingly meets his demise in this scene.
You wouldn't leave your pal hanging now, would you?
Batman, don't be stupid. I can't believe you almost fell for that.
Almost had you.
Joker, you're a retard. Batman, don't feel bad for him. Sheesh. The Joker got what he deserved. Save me, Batman!
And you thought that the Joker's death in Arkham City was shocking. Meanwhile, Penguin is searching for the stash of loot, which is hidden in Gotham Cemetery.
This must be the place. I'll take what's behind door number 1.
Hey, who am I talking to? He pries open a coffin, which he thinks has the money inside.
I'm bleeding!
But he ends up accidentally resurrecting the shriveled up corpse of Dracula. Boy, when things go wrong. After he bites the Night Watchman, turning him into a vampire, he enlists the Penguin to be his new Renfield.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'll have you know, sir, I am a cobblepot, and cobblepots do not serve. I'm Penguin. I'll be your server.
Wonderful. Maybe Dracula can hypnotize him to make better jokes. Penguin tells Dracula that he's not in Transylvania anymore, and Dracula starts to ponder over what might have happened.
Then if I am no longer in Transylvania, near my castle, it must be due to forces outside my control.
Okay. Admittedly, the design for that castle is pretty cool. I especially like the spires underneath the castle that look like stalactites. But I gotta ask, what exactly is the point of building a castle halfway off of a cliff?
Everything in life is location, location, location.
It must be due to forces outside my control, following my death. It seems after I was vanquished, my remains were relocated far from Transylvania.
Alright. Them sending you far off to the other side of the world was a pretty good idea. Except, how are you regenerating if they didn't send any of your homeland along with you? I mean, they just send you away with nothing but your coffin? Technically, that should have worked.
This review, as you saw, Bob Show wonders how Dracula is able to regenerate from Penguin's blood if there wasn't Transylvanian dirt in his coffin. And we think that this is one of those things that Bob shows.
I think there was dirt in his coffin. When Penguin opens his coffin and cuts his...
I know, he says, this isn't pay dirt, it's just dirt! It looks like dust to me. A lot of dust,
like
but...
dirt.
Yeah. Anyway, he wonders how Dracula is able to regenerate without Transylvanian dirt in his coffin. And we think that this is one of those things that Bob Show is making a big deal about. That
he also wonders how Dracula's cliff is able to stand without a foundation on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, but me and my brother think that scene was... I'm a little iffy on that scene. My brother thinks it was pointless exposition. I liked it because
the animation was cool.
I liked it because it tied in Bram Stoker's Dracula novel with this movie. So yeah. Batman goes back to Wayne Manor, meets Alfred, tells him that the Joker is dead. Boo-hoo, Batman, the Joker deserved it.
I shall don that straight away, sir. Sir? You are brooding. More so than usual.
Alfred, tonight Joker met his demise.
And our old friend Cobblepot?
Penguin's trail went completely cold.
We then find the rather metrosexual Bruce Wayne on a date with TV news anchor Vicky Vale. Of course, she's supposed to be our damsel in distress for this movie, but hey, at least she's not screaming in every other scene. As usual, Bruce has to cut their date short so he can play Batman, but he invites her to a tech expo at Wayne Manor where he'll be showing off some new alternative energy sources.
The tally of missing persons has spiked dramatically in Gotham this past week, with Gotham PD no closer to uncovering who or what might be behind the mysterious disappearances of these lost ones. A cloud of fear hangs over our city.
Gotham PD aren't the only ones who are baffled.
Might the missing Penguin be behind this?
No ransom demands, not his style.
And speaking of news, how was your dinner with the lovely Vicky Vale?
Short, but sweet.
What's interesting is that this incarnation of Alfred is a little more insistent on Bruce leading a normal life than what is traditionally seen in Alfred's, but he still goes along with Bruce's wishes and helps him however he can in his crime-fighting career. Just like Alfred is supposed to.
What are you doing? It's ruined. It's ruined. What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Answer me.
It had to be done, Master Bruce. Ugh.
Fear.
Okay, Bob Thomas seems to think that it was wrong of Alfred to try and stop young Bruce Wayne in the show Gotham from doing an investigation into the deaths of, into the murder of his parents and the conspiracy surrounding them, etc., etc. I think that he's making a big deal out of something that really shouldn't be made a big deal out of, because Bruce Wayne isn't Batman yet in Gotham. He's still just a kid. He's like 11 or 12 years old, etc. So Alfred really does have his best interests at heart when he was destroying that computer. Also, the scene where in Batman vs. Dracula, Alfred said that he was beginning to fear that Bruce preferred the company of arch-villains to the company of single attractive women. That scene reminded me of a scene in The Dark Knight Rises where Alfred says something, where Alfred is trying to hook Bruce up with Selina Kyle, who robbed him of his mother's pearls and stole his fingerprints in order to get into a safe. Batman, when Bruce sarcastically asks him if he's trying to hook him up with criminals, Alfred says, "At this point, I'd set you up with a chimpanzee if I thought it would bring you back to the world." So, that scene in Batman vs. Dracula reminded me of that scene in The Dark Knight. Take a look.
Over our city.
Gotham PD aren't the only ones who are baffled.
Might the missing Penguin be behind this?
No ransom demands, not his style.
And speaking of news, how was your dinner with the lovely Vicky Vale?
Short, but sweet. I invited her to the expo tomorrow night, and to dinner here Saturday.
To think I was beginning to fear you preferred the company of arch-villains.
Selena Kyle. Databases are full of close calls, tips from fences. She's good, but the ground is shrinking beneath her feet.
We should send the police before she fences the pearls.
She won't. She likes them too much. And they weren't what she was after.
What was she after?
My fingerprints. It was printer toner, mixed with graphite on the safe. It gives a good pull, and it's untraceable.
Fascinating. You two should exchange notes over coffee.
So now you're trying to set me up with a jewel thief.
At this point, I'd set you up with a chimpanzee if it brought...
Batman, while making a routine patrol, runs into some of the lost ones who have turned into vampires. He barely escapes with his life.
To the world.
The Penguin informs Dracula about the Batman.
Sure. The Batman may look
Dracula becomes intrigued and wants to meet with Batman.
I'm nonetheless intrigued. My legacy has been quite influential.
Vampires, Master Bruce? Are you certain you are not suffering from sleep deprivation?
I don't want to believe it either, Alfred.
Bruce is telling Alfred about his night where he met vampires.
Easily purchased at any
Alfred refuses to believe it.
It wasn't just the teeth.
He thinks Bruce is
their eyes.
Suffering from sleep deprivation.
Yes, well, might I remind you, before one urban legend becomes too obsessed with another,
Alfred refuses to believe in vampires. He
energy expo
chooses to remain grounded in reality.
With the ravishing Vicky Vale on your arm.
Time for my master to rise and shine. Wakey wake, it's nighty-night. You have places to be, people
Wakey
to bite.
wake, it's nighty-night. You've got places to be, people to bite. Ha ha ha. Nice rhyme, Penguin, nice rhyme.
I wonder where Dracula would find a Dracula cape on such short notice.
Those blood shakes really work wonders for your complexion.
Rise, my children of the night.
So Dracula lays out his plans for Gotham City. He's going to turn everyone into vampires. But once he does that, where will the vampires get their food? That's what I'd like to know.
Execute my dark purpose. I shall stake my claim among Gotham's elites.
Well, if you're looking to be numero uno of the rich and famous, there's one bird you'll have to knock off his
Dracula wants to stake his claim amongst Gotham's elite. Penguin gives him the idea of taking out Bruce Wayne because he's the richest person in Gotham.
Anyway, the snappily dressed Dracula crashes the party. Don't vampires need to be invited before they can enter someone's dwelling?
Oh, in this scene, BOBSHEAUX wonders how Dracula is able to enter Bruce Wayne's manor.
The door was open.
Even though he wasn't officially invited, and yeah, like I said, like my brother just said, the door was open. And the part where he slipped in as a shadow before solidifying into human form was pretty cool.
And he introduces himself.
And you are?
Alucard. Dr. Alucard.
Dr. Acula.
Come on, Bruce Wayne doesn't recognize the name Alucard. He prides himself on forcing every bit of information into his head that he can, regardless of how trivial it may seem. He wouldn't have picked up Alucard from Son of Dracula or that Hellsing anime.
I am new to Gotham, a recent transport from Eastern Europe.
Funny that he doesn't say that he's from Transylvania, nor did he apparently look up whether or not Transylvania still exists. Where is he from? Eastern Europe, that'll suffice.
We spoke of my work. What of yours?
Research and development. For instance, the Wayne Industries SL5. It's the most efficient technology to date for collecting solar energy and storing it as true sunlight.
I'll have to dispose of you before this obvious plot device bites me in the ass later.
He actually hypnotizes Bruce so he can do just that, but thankfully Alfred arrives to snap him out of it.
Alucard.
Dracula decides to turn one of
You
the
freaked me out.
servers
Looking for some munchies?
because he's hungry and this guy will do, but he really wanted Bruce Wayne.
You there. Circulate.
Alfred finally gets his proof that vampires exist.
Empty-handed. This time I am out for
This time
blood.
I'm out for blood.
Stipes. Mr. Stipes. Now what is wrong with this picture? Correct. No cheese platter. Which means you are headed the wrong way. Then look at yourself. Was I not here the first... Oh.
He notices that the waiter has no reflection, realizes he's a vampire. So...
Pardon me. Thanks.
Whatever are you writing?
His name. Alucard.
I had to write this down as scary as possible. Bruce starts doing some vampire research, and Vicky Vale suddenly drops this little bit of good news.
I saw what got the guy. Saw it with my own 2 eyes. It was a bat. I saw a huge shadow of a bat.
As such, Gotham PD has concluded that the perpetrator behind these bizarre abductions is none other than the Batman.
So yeah, on top of stopping this new crime wave, Batman has to clear his own name. Mask of the Phantasm. Pardon me.
It's way past your bedtime, sir.
With more citizens vanishing every night, all we know is that the shadow of the Bat now strikes fear not only in criminals, but in the hearts of all Gothamites.
Mighty gracious of the Batman to take all the blame for you, sucker! You like? It's a plasma screen. You know, as in blood. Oh, the girl. You have been in the grave a long time, Master. Nice jugulars.
Even her name possesses a mysterious allure. Vale. I think it's time to seek my bride.
Batman decides to stake out the cemetery when a SWAT team shows up to... Holy crap, I forgot they use actual bullets in this movie! In the show, all we ever saw were these weird little electrical pellet thingies.
Stay put, Bat. That is, unless you want the shock of a lifetime.
Dracula takes out the SWAT team so he can have Batman all to himself, and he proposes that Batman join him in his army of the undead. Batman refuses, kick-ass fight scene happens, but Dracula runs off when the morning sun starts creeping in. Batman limps home to lick his wounds, and he has a trippy little dream sequence, so, yet again, we can see him being all torn up by the loss of his parents and stuff.
Seen it!
And come on, the Cloaked Rider? Could they really not just put The Mark of Zorro in that marquee? That's the movie that Bruce Wayne saw with his parents on that fateful night. We later find Penguin about to wake Dracula for another night of feeding, and who does he bump into?
Everyone's so shocked to see me these days. You, the fisherman who found me tangled in his net. By the way, who knew electroshock therapy could be so invigorating?
I've been dead once already. It's very liberating.
Joker follows Penguin into the crypt, giving Dracula his first meal of the day.
Breakfast in bed. Fresh squeezed.
And what's worse than the Joker? The undead Joker. And it's here where we see my favorite scene in the whole movie.
give blood?
Unlike the rest of the Lost Ones, who are more or less vampiric zombies, Joker is somehow able to maintain his mental capacities, and he goes to a blood bank and just starts going to town.
A bold finish of wild cherries with a hint of oak.
Ew, that is so nasty, I love it. As the inevitable fight scene between him and Batman transpires, he even gets showered in blood. That is both horrid and awesome. It's not enough that he feeds on blood for his very survival, he is reveling in his vampirism. Very good idea to have this kind of lighting, too. Since cartoon politics these days can't show bad guys using conventional weapons, I'm pretty sure that means excessive amounts of blood is right out as well. So how do these animators get around it? By dimming the lights a little and coloring the blood black so it looks less blood-like, but the effect remains intact. That is brilliant! Batman eventually gets the better of Joker, and takes him to the Batcave to act as his test subject as he tries to work out a cure for vampirism. I also love the formula for the show being repeated in this movie. A new threat comes to Gotham, Batman tries to take it down, but he gets his ass kicked. He goes back home to research the problem a little more, figures out how to defeat the new threat, and then he does. That is how you show Batman saving the day. You can't just have his ultimate weapon being him saying, "I'm Batman." While Batman researches the night away, he forgets that he was supposed to have a date with Vicky tonight.
Vicky.
Astonishingly, she still speaks the world of you.
Not enough for her to actually show up in anything after this movie, but still. Batman finally whips up an antidote and cures Joker of his vampirism, and then Joker tells Batman that the last thing he remembers was being in the caves underneath Gotham Cemetery. Dracula exposits that he wants to bring his cremated wife back from the dead, but in order for him to do that, he needs a human sacrifice instead of just a little bit of blood like what brought him to life. He abducts Vicky on her way home, since who would be a more fitting sacrifice than Vicky, and Batman gears up for the climactic battle between the Dark Knight and the Undead. He uses all of his antidote capsules on the Lost Ones before he can try to cure Dracula, and I guess throwing a bomb at the soul transfer is enough to stop it. Apparently Batman's a big fan of the Mythbusters. You got a problem? Just blow it up! They fight their way through the catacombs under Gotham City, and Penguin runs after Vicky.
Knock, knock. Here's Ozzy.
No. I'm not gonna do it. I've already done too many jokes from The Shining lately, and I gotta stop before it gets old. Oh, screw it. Here's Ozzy! Batman eventually leads Dracula into the Batcave. I think it's about time for a little bat payoff, don't you?
Rise and shine.
You are Bruce Wayne.
I'm the Batman. And you're dust.
And that is how you properly employ
I'm Batman.
With Dracula gone, Vicky is safe, the Lost Ones have no memory of what happened, and Penguin gets blamed for the abductions.
Though details remain sketchy due to amnesia inflicted on the hostages, apparently via some sort of hypnosis.
But the hostages are safe and sound, and it now seems that the Batman was unfairly blamed for Penguin's crimes. So it is safe to say we can swap his status from villain back to vigilante.
This is Plot Convenience News for all your exposition needs. Thus, our movie ends with Batman continuing his never-ending quest against the forces of evil. It just kinda sucks that this movie predates the bat signal, which wouldn't be established until the end of the second season, because this final scene is just begging for the bat signal to light up the sky right now. So that was the Batman vs. Dracula. And yeah, I poke fun at it, but honestly, I recommend it. Granted, it takes a few liberties with traditional vampire mythology, and it kind of depends on a few contrivances for it to work, but the action is great. It's got some genuinely creepy moments in it, and surprisingly, it's nowhere near as silly as its title would imply. Batman has faced vampires before in the comics, but if he's going to make the transition into fighting vampires in cinema, this was a pretty good way to do it.
Hey everyone, we're at the end of our review. We're going to talk about aspects of the film that we didn't get to talk about yet in this review. One of my favorite scenes, it was one of the scariest things, even though it was also fairly predictable what would happen, but it was the scene where people are locking themselves up for the night because they're scared of going missing, being abducted, and some guy sees a little girl out in the middle of the street singing, and he goes out and tells her she shouldn't be outside alone at night, and she turns out to be a vampire and gets him. That scene reminds me of the opening scene in The Walking Dead where Rick comes across a zombie girl, and he thinks she's a human until she tries to attack him, and he sees that her part of her face is falling off. So, got a video clip of that. Here you go.
Hey, little girl. You shouldn't be out here.
Little girl? I'm a policeman. Little girl. Don't be afraid, okay? Little girl?
We're going to talk about a scene from the Batman vs. Dracula movie and in this review. Like Bob's show, it's one of our favorite scenes. It's the scene where after the Joker turns into a vampire, he goes to the blood bank. Even though that is one of my favorite scenes.
I don't know why you have a problem with the blood being in glass vials, because the effect would have been ruined otherwise.
The atmosphere was pretty cool.
If it was in plastic, they couldn't have had it rain on the Joker.
I don't know.
It's not something that I find crucial or something to pick at.
Yeah, but anyway, and the atmosphere.
And as Dad pointed out, they used to store blood in glass vials.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
You're weird, Peter.
It wasn't even refrigerated. It was just on, like, huge bookcases of glass shelves.
Maybe the room was refrigerated. You ever thought of that?
If it was, you would have seen their breath. Well, Batman's at least. Anyway.
You think too much.
In real life, even though the atmosphere in that scene in the blood bank was great, in real life, blood banks do not store blood in glass vials. They store it in plastic bags, and they keep the blood in refrigerators. Anyway, that is a great scene. That's just something I had to say about it.
Scariest because
Okay, now we're going to talk about the scene where Dracula tries to resurrect his bride. Bob Show didn't have much to say about it, except that Batman manages to stop the soul transference of Vicky Vale to Carmilla, Dracula's bride, with a bomb. But that scene was one of the scariest scenes because Dracula was draining Vicky of her life essence to resurrect his wife. But it was
the
also
scene where she rapidly ages is creepy.
Yeah, but it's also one of the most beautifully animated scenes. I like how I like the animation of the soul light, how it looks like gas and light and just like this brightly neon blue mist. That was cool. I like that scene. Yeah. So anyway, watch.
An unwanted guest. You dare interrupt the ceremony.
You cannot win. No human can resist my will.
Good boy. Once my bride has had her fill, I shall offer up your corpse as a wedding gift.
Even you would go to the dark side for that.
So that was Bob Show's review of Batman vs. Dracula. My brother and I overall agreed with his assessment that it's a fun movie to watch, especially around this time of year, October, Halloween time. Like I said earlier, the beginning was... the way the Penguin escapes was cliched and stupid. Batman angsting over the Joker's apparent death was pointless and angsty and stupid. Other than that, I liked it. Other than the Penguin escaping, it was stupid, but it was also funny, as I mentioned earlier. But overall, I liked the movie. Overall, I agreed with Bob Show's assessment of the movie. Peter Stormare's Dracula was fantastic. The animation was superb. Yeah, the animation was great. The plotline could have used a lot more work. Could have used more work. The jokes are kind of lame. But other than that, it was a good movie. And yeah, I enjoy watching it during Halloween time. So, anyway, Bob Show, Bob Thomas, I love your show, Bob Show. You're one of my favorite internet reviewers. The others are The Nostalgia Critic and Fellas Goes to the Movies. My brother has a few more that he watches, but yeah, you're one of our favorite internet reviewers. We like your show and we watch it a lot. Hope to see more of your videos. Anyway, keep doing what you do. Bye.